Hello, everybody. It's me, the Grand Blue, the grandest of the blues, here to bring you the latest in entertainment news. But today I'm bringing you a little something different. Have you ever had watched a TV show and then go to, let's say, Toys R Us, where you can be a Toys R Us kid playing things and video games? Uh, and you look for like the toy for your favorite TV show. I'm sure you all had your favorite kind of toy line from your TV shows. Mine was the Ben 10 alien figure line. I had every alien I had every alien. It was awesome. Um and when my dad was growing up, he had the muscle men, you know, the
Joseph
muscle.
Muscle.
Yes, muscle. 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 Those guys were fun. Ask Braxton Gamer. I believe his thing was the Sonic. He had some Sonic toys, I know.
And plushies.
He had some of the plushie line. But like everyone had a TV show or something. They were like, man. But then there's other TV shows, who have a great idea that they could be turning in, like making some money off of this, And it just makes you wonder, why weren't these things made? So here we are today with my top 10 toys that should have been made from cartoons. Number 10 is from the Kirby Right Back at You series from W Kids. I think it was no, it wasn't W
There's
Kids.
4Kids.
4Kids.tv, or maybe to your new generation, Vortex. The Kirby Right Back at You series was a great series, an amazing series. Almost forgot. For this top 10 list, I am not counting if for Happy Meal toys. I don't count them. They don't count. They're not real toys. Come on. Everyone has a Happy Meal. Almost every legitimate thing will eventually get a Happy Meal. Come on. Fast and Furious had a Happy Meal. But the Kirby Right Back at You, they had a toy line, but they only made Kirby's. They only made Kirby. They made the different versions of Kirby. But they never made the monsters. Which is weird. There was every episode had their own monster that Kirby had to fight, And most toy lines will make the villain. Even the Power Rangers. They make the Power Rangers and they make the villain. Even not even the main villain. They won't just make Rita Repulsa or Lord Zed. They'll also make Puzzle Guy or Roadhog. They'll make the miniature villains. That are only henchmen and only there for an episode until they blow up. And that was just disappointing that they never made toys out of the monsters. Ironically, there's an episode of Kirby Right Back at You where the Monster Corporation makes little action figures out of the monsters that King Dedede has used and the Meta Knights and sells them. There's an entire episode with little toy things, toy figurines of the Kirby characters. But they never made it to your local toy department, which is disappointing. But next is number 9. Reptar Cart and Stroller. Now, I know for a fact that there are, in fact, Reptar book bags. There are Reptar plushies. They're currently making Reptar plushies. Actually, right now, you can go and buy them. They are making Reptar plushies still. There's a Reptar Funko figure. I weirdly there's a Reptar, a purple Reptar. I don't know why. Oddly enough, they never made the French snail monster from the Rugrats Go to Paris. I was always disappointed they never did anything with that. Um, but Reptar, see the Reptar cart and stroller was from the Rugrats movie, and was seen throughout the TV show, and was also in the Rugrats Go Wild special, where they did a crossover with Elijah Thornberry. Um, and like, I'm just surprised that no one thought to actually make a Reptar stroller. Like, don't get me wrong, the fact that it's able to be operated by a 1-year-old and has giant metal wheels is a bit of a turnoff, but just make those out of plastic and make the wheel fake, and you got something, people. It even has headlights for safety, you know? Like, this thing, like, it's made in the show, and they show you how they make it, so it's kind of just your fault for not making it. There's literally a scene in the Rugrats movie where they make the frame for the Reptar cart. You know, they're like building everything. Granted, it breathes fire, but I mean, we don't have to do that. But moving on to number 8.
I think the other reason why I didn't make it into a cut-such scroller, maybe it wouldn't be safe for kids.
Well, even then, like, if you were to like change it up, you can like make it safe.
You know what parents are like in the 90s.
I don't know what you're talking about. I went outside near a railroad track. Now, Chowder was a hilarious show. I loved Chowder. I loved Chowder as a kid. I loved him. The point of the show was Chowder was the apprentice to Mung Dal. And of course, everyone's name is a pun. And Chowder was an apprentice to Mung Dal in a cooking company. And the whole show was all about cooking. And yet, the people at Cartoon Network never thought to bring the two worlds together of Chowder and the Easy Bake Oven. Now, some of you might be saying, well, Grand Blue, who's going to play with an Easy Bake Oven? They're still making them. They are still the picture I use is one of the new models of an Easy Bake Oven. They still make Easy Bake Oven. And back then, even like they've always made toys that make edible food. Even guys had toys, you know, like you had Dr. Insano's bug creation machine, you know, where you could eat the bugs and freak out your friends, you know. And like Chowder is just like, he's kind of asking you to make cooking stuff out of him, you know, for kids, you know. Make an Easy Bake Oven for Chowder and have like purple nurple cookie cutters and have like the timer and like everything be the voice of Truffles going, is it done yet? Or like have Mung Dal be doing like whenever it dings, it can like go rada rada or something, you know. But like they never made an Easy Bake Oven for Chowder, and I feel like that's a missed opportunity. Could have been put together perfectly. You could even have given kids like a fake Chowder cookbook, you know, on how to make like Chowder pun food. That would have been funny, you know. But moving on to the next one.
Okay, dude,
Turns out I'm online. Turns out I'm online. Kids Next Door 2x4 technology. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid and I watched Kids Next Door, I loved the moment when you got to see the blueprints for like the Kids Next Door technology. I loved that moment where we just like take a moment and you'd see like a shopping cart, and then it does like Kids Next Door shopping cart, and then it tells you the acronym and what it means and how stupid it is, you know? And like I thought to myself, man, there's a lot of guns. They make a lot of guns. How come they never made a toy? How come Nerf never got a hold of the Kids Next Door? You know? That's kind of strange.
Maybe they were concerned and worried about being sharp edges on the toys, maybe? Or...
I mean, maybe, but even then, there was a lot of Nerf guns that got a little crazy back in the day. Even even Nerf guns are one thing, but why not? I don't know, laser tag. You know, but like, okay, so Owen,
yeah,
how do you want to open this JS file?
yeah.
But like. Okay, so the two pictures that I have here for this part of the top 10 list, these are the two 2x4 weapons that I think most likely could have made it into a Nerf gun. You know, I think maybe the mailbox juice cannon, the Juicesuka, I think is what they called it, could have been made into like a Nerf bazooka. And then we have the classic Scamp, which was I'll say one of two of the stapled 2x4 technology that you would see in the show, next to the I don't know what it's called, but it's literally a 2x4 connected to a magnet, and it just smacks people. But yeah, like having them as Nerf guns would have been pretty cool, or even just having them as laser tag things. Like I just hate that they never took the Kids Next Door's weaponry. Maybe weaponry is the wrong. They're toys, because basically that's what they are in this world. Like they're toys that they made themselves into like toys that like could have been sold as like Nerf guns, so that you can have like a K&D war zone in your house. You know, give your kids the feeling that they're a K&D agent. But on to the next one.
Yep.
Whoop 8 gadgets. People, I am a guy. I'm sure you're not surprised by this. I have a beard, mustache, curly flowing hair. I'm sure you're just, plus I'm sure you fabulous fans are just dying to know if I'm single. But I, as a kid, loved Totally Spies. I loved them. They were amazing. I didn't care that they were girls. They were amazing. However, now, granted, these toys are not made, like, if they made toys out of these, granted, they would not be made for me. But still, the Whoop gadgets that the girls would get at the near the beginning of every episode were pretty cool. Like the laser lipstick. I think we have here the tornado
hair dryer,
blow dryer, the puck, the switch, I think it's like a switchblade charm bracelet. What looks to be freezing gum, the infrared camera, the communicator laser watch. I don't know what that. It looks like a grappling hook, eye straightener, and a hoverboard, and of course, just basic glasses. Now, granted, some of these would have to be maybe dumbed down a bit, but still, like Totally Spy brand Whoop gadgets would have been pretty cool. You know, the camera would have been a nice toy. Even like Totally Spy brand lipstick would have made a selling. And the tornado hair dryer would have been kind of cool. You know, like there was a much more than that too, and one that I didn't get a picture of, the jetpack that the girls had in every episode. the Whoop Agency Totally Spies backpack that was a heart and had a flower on it, you know? Like that, why would they never make that? Incidentally, they did make the communicator that they had, a little pocket communicator. And yes, I know, I did my research. They did make Happy Meal toys out of some of the gadgets, but they never actually made it into the toy aisle, which I thought was weird. On to the next one, guys. Monkey from Dexter's Laboratory. This edition is actually brought to you by Braxton Gamer himself. Monkey from Dexter's Laboratory. If you don't recall Monkey, he was Dexter's pet monkey who had a secret alter ego as Monkey, the superhero who would save the world from an alien Macho Man Randy Savage, a lava monster, a super intelligent monkey that we sent off to space, and a duck that also had superpowers made by Mandark. This monkey was adorable and cute. Excuse me. Was cute and adorable. Everyone loved him. Even in the show, whenever Monkey would be defeated by the bad guy, the thing that would always happen was everyone around him would go, Monkey, 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 Monkey. And then Monkey would come back to life through the spirit of awesome and friendship and love and all that crap. You know? And I just was disappointed that they never made like a plush doll Monkey. You know, or like because the Fairly Odd Parents actually made a Cosmo and Wanda reversible stuffed animals. I'm kind of thinking something like that. They made these plush dolls that were Cosmo and Wanda in fish and fairy form. Like you could reverse it and it would be Cosmo, and then reverse it again and it would be Cosmo as a fish. And then there was another one that I think was Wanda, and like you could reverse it and it would be like Wanda as a butterfly. You know, like they had like reversible Fairly Odd Parents for their transformations. So I think maybe Monkey could have had something like that where it was like Monkey and then you could reverse him into his super suit. You know? This one is, you know, just more of a someone suggested it. It seemed like a great idea because I really did enjoy Monkey. He was my favorite part of a Dexter's Laboratory episode. Is a monkey episode. It was like when you see that monkey show up, it's just like, oh man, this is gonna be cool for a couple of minutes. The best part. But on to the next one.
Okie dokie. Dee-ba-dee-ba-dee.
The Shangong Wu. Now, for any of you who are unaware of what this is, and maybe I'm talking crazy to you, the Shangong Wu are ancient artifacts that had magic power from a show called Shaolin Showdown that was on Cartoon Network and then later moved to Disney. The Shangong Wu were incredible. The ones on this list that I'm showing you are only a fraction of how many there were in the series. Almost every episode had a different one. And sometimes it had more than one that they would show off. And some of them were kind of begging to be made toys out of. Maybe not the changing chopsticks, but the monkey staff, the fist of Tebigong, and made into something. The Eye of Dashi would have been a cool one, or even the very first Shangong Wu that was in the show, which was the Mantis Flip Coin, could have made a pretty interesting toy. I do believe some of them were made into Happy Meal toys for I forget which company. It wasn't McDonald's. I think it might have been Burger King. I think Burger King got the Shangong Wu, and it wasn't many of them. It was. I think it was literally only 2 of them were made, only 2 were actual Shangang Wu. The rest were like the characters that had like a smaller version of the Shangang Wu. I think the only 2 that were made were the Eagle's Eye and the Mantis Flip Coin. I think those were the only 2. And again, I'm not counting those as actual toys because they were part of a Happy Meal. But on to the next one. My Life as a Teenage Robot Toys. Any toy. Because upon doing research for this, it turns out that I was originally going to just put the XJ9 sisters as toys. They were in a couple of episodes and were pretty fun, and they were very enjoyable characters. The XJs, I guess. And I figured I'd look them up. And it turns out that XJ9 never got any toy line. There was no XJ9 action figure. There was nothing. There's none. There are no toys for the My Life as a Teenage Robot series.
Maybe the show wasn't that popular.
I mean, sure, you could say that. But then again, upon doing research, Nickelodeon just doesn't like making toys. Oddly enough, they didn't. A while back, they just didn't like making toys. Because upon doing research, there's also no Danny Phantom toys, which is weird in my opinion. There's also like those Fairly OddParents toys that I mentioned before. Those are the only ones I can find other than Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy Neutron and Timmy Turner are like the only 2 Nickelodeon shows, aside from the one that shan't be mentioned, out of respect to Owen.
Don't get Rugrats had their own toy line as well in the 90s.
Rugrats did have a toy line, but other than them, they didn't really have much else other than that. Now, sure, nowadays you can find, and I'm not counting Happy Meal toys.
I think Rocco's One Life had toys and Our Real Monsters as well.
I think I don't know about All Real Monsters. I know about their toys, but I thought they were in the Happy Meals for Hardee's or Burger King. But again, like there's just not a lot of Nick brand toys out there. I mean, even the Jimmy Neutron stuff, like there was like maybe a few action figures that were made and maybe a couple of his inventions, but the inventions were mainly in the Happy Meals. And even Timmy Turner had a bunch of stuff. And then He Who Shan't Be Named had a few toys. Not a lot though. Danny Phantom had none. I want to make that very clear. He had 0, which was weird because he had a large cast of characters that they could have done something with. I don't know about you, but I would love a Box Ghost action figure. And when you press the button, said beware. But My Life as a Teenage Robot seems like the perfect thing to make a toy out of, because XJ9 appeals to both the male and female demographic, in a very interesting way. It has all the female teen fun that goes with that, and it has robots fighting each other for guys. And plus there's the intergalactic war with the cluster. It just like shows like that were like begging to make toys that they just didn't make any. And I was just really disappointed to find out that there's no My Life as a Teenage Robot toys. And it was a fairly popular show. They just didn't make anything. Nick's not very good at making toys. Dang it, Nick. But moving on to the next one.
Yes, of course.
Disappointing you, Nick. But let's move on to something a little more modern. Because, there's still toys that are being made today. And I, of course, am talking about the Crystal Gem weapons. Now, recently, Funko has finally decided to make Crystal Gem Funko figures. I found some today that I might be getting. I might do an unboxing. Who knows? One day of some of the figures. Um, but yeah. But the weapons that the crystal gems use. Now, on the picture here, I have a rose quartz's sword. Fusion weapons. Now, I'm not saying we need to make fusion weapons. We don't need those. I don't really care. But like maybe the main weapons that the crystal gems use could be made into like fun Nerf kind of weapons, with like Nerf padding. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when you think about it. I mean, Garnet's fists could be like the Hulk fists. The crystal pearl spear and amethyst's whip, I mean, it's kind of a fun thing to have, and like only fan made stuff of this have been made, and even then they're hard to find. And I'm just a little disappointed in you, Cartoon Network. Usually you step up, and Steven Universe is one of your is like up there, dude. It is up
Yes.
there in popularity as the series comes to a very sad ending very soon. But it's up there, man, and we've gone through almost the entire series, and we've like gotten barely any toys, which is just a credit to it that there's like no toys and it's got this big of a fan base. I mean, but still, I'm just a little disappointed that there's none other than the Funko figures. Anyway, on to, I believe, the number one.
I'm just gotta say one thing about the whip. That's quite worrying with the adult fans of the show, shall we say?
It is worrying of the adult fans, yeah, sure, but it's also a good thing for cosplayers. They're just asking for it. Don't mean that.
Yeah, I already feel
it. Lilo and Stitch cousin blush dolls. Now, when I say this, I mean from the Lilo and Stitch TV series, not Lilo and Stitch anime. We're not going there. Or the Lilo and Stitch. I think they made one for like the kindergartners. But like I mean, like all the cousins from the TV show. There were 26 of them. You think that some more than 4 would be made. Only technically 5 were made, but 4 of them were released. These 4, if you wouldn't mind pressing it to show off the 4.
Just give me a moment.
Only 4 Lilo and Stitch plush dolls were made. Well, 5. I'm not saying Stitch because if they didn't make Stitch, clearly they've made a mistake. But there were only 5, and most of them were made because of movie releases. Like we have Sparky from the Lilo and Stitch movie, where was actually the start of the Lilo and Stitch series. And even Sparky is rare, by the way. He is a rare plushie that I don't think is very hard to find nowadays. Angel was made because, boy, he was kind of like, she's the female Stitch. So we kind of had to make a toy out of her. And Ruben, a.k.a. 625 for the series, was made. And so was Leroy. Now, these 2 were made because of Stitch, because Leroy and Stitch, which was a Lilo and Stitch movie. But none of the actual experiments were made. Only one of the cousins was made into a plush, and it was only sold at the Disney store, and it was Duplo, whose primary function was to make duplicates of himself, of anything, but it would only be half as good as the original. Which is ridiculous. I find that completely ridiculous. Like Disney usually is pretty good at making money. They will usually jump at the opportunity to make money off of something. And here we have Lilo and Stitch, who have cute, fuzzy and adorable characters that each one has at least an episode devoted to them, and like no toys made out of them. None. Zero. There are zero of them, which is disappointing to me because it's a pot of gold that they've just let sit there and they're doing nothing with. And it's disappointing to me. You know, don't get me wrong. Some of them maybe shouldn't have been made into plush dolls. You know, for example, Shrink probably didn't need to be made into a plush doll. Sabotage probably not, or Honka Honka, but maybe an experiment like Cannonball could have been a pretty interesting thing. Kicks would have been an interesting one, and I think another one would have been Houdini. Would have been an interesting experiment that could have been made into a plush doll. Like, there was a variety to choose from. We'll give them, you know, there's so many that they could have chosen to make and done something with. The fact that they did nothing is just ridiculous. But, of course, that's all in the past, and this has been my top 10 toys that should have been made. Do you agree with some of my suggestions? Do you think that maybe some of my suggestions could have been brought a little further? Do you know of any of these things that I have mentioned? If they do or do not exist, please let me know in the comments below. And please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, hit that bell the little bell so you'll get notifications when our YouTube and when our talking and chilling live videos come on, because more than likely they're gonna be on this. Just, you know, when they're on this channel, you'll get a little ding to let you know, hey, there's a talking and chilling going on. Well, we better go see what's going on in the world, you know. And you'll get updates of when I'll be making videos, whether it be gameplay, top 10 lists like this, or a fun unboxing. Until next time, everybody, I'm the Grand Blue, and with me, as usual, is the Great Yummy Owen.
It's fun to be in this top 10 video of you, Grant, and hopefully we will see you all in the Talking and Chilling podcast. So be safe, guys.
Toodles.